Thank you all so much. So now we come to the panel discussion, and I'm going to call people up, and I'll call you all. So Hong Liang, Huang Tejun, Ji Heng, George Smoot, Juan Christie, Wen Jirong, Qi Yuan, and then we're going to have in the last two chairs Laurent Laforge and Q Shipen. Welcome to all the panelists. It's been amazing, but it's also quite tiring. So welcome all here, and thank you all for keeping to the time. Maybe very briefly, each of you can just say name and where you're from and what your interest is, just like for the previous panel. So please start.
I'm Professor George Smoot. My research is normally in cosmology, but I find interest in a lot of things. The next of my institution I'm going to is Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. I was advertising Donetsk Institute for Physics because we just got, 3 weeks ago, awarded one of the IBM supercomputing sites for quantum computers. So it's the question of, can we make the AI grow faster?
So my first question is, as we've heard here, quite a few applications of AI to current scientific problems. And I wanted to ask each of you what you think is going to be the next big problem that's going to fall to AI. George Smoot?
Yes, hi. First I want to say, one of the great we're living in a time of great change, and one of the great thrusts is the fact that AI is going to be in all our lives everywhere, not just them stealing our concert tickets or restaurants, but everything. Your phone is smart. But I think the area which is going to have the biggest impact, it should already be having, but some people are standing in the way, is in medicine. A little more than 5 years ago, there came a problem that basically Google released the tools for doing neural nets. There's a problem. I thought, this is perfect. And China, I went to a hospital in China that had the idea. It was a hospital run by, the president was a cardiac person, and they had tremendous amount of data from having taken EKGs and setting up, and they wanted to set remote stuff and send the stuff over the time so that they can, over the phone line or the internet line, so they could do it. But you can't afford to monitor every patient all the time, right? But even you can't always have that around. But this is a perfect problem for AI. It's a linear stream of data. You know what the wave function should look like. All this kind of stuff. I went around and I tried to find some people in China who were sort of expert at this, because postdoc and I, he was in France, and we started to do doing it. We could only do the crude thing, which was put the data in and get a projection. Is this a good cardiogram, or does this person need to be pulled into the hospital from the branch? But the fact is, you should be able to put in a physical model of the heartbeat. There's many stuff that you should be able to do, but iFlyTech had hired about 50% of all the people in China that knew how to do anything like that. And they weren't interested in dealing with other problems. They were trying to do the big language problem. So I don't know how it'll be, but it's an example where it's there, and you're looking, there is tremendous AI technology in every doctor's office already. It's just not hooked up coherently, but it can be easily. But already the chatbots are better at diagnosing people and getting prescriptions than the 90% of the human doctors. Right?
That's very useful. So now let me go into the second question. And I think the question my question got distorted as we moved along. We're talking about AI for science. What new development, if you could imagine, what's the next thing you would want from AI to develop science most? And this can be your own personal science. Georgia, do you want to go? Or?
Well, I'm always willing to jump in, but I think the key issue answers your previous question in a certain sense, that as a human being and a scientist, you're taught the difference between fast and slow thinking, right? So if you use Danny Kahneman's phrase for that, that is, most of the time you just make decisions. You're driving your car, you're buying laundry detergent, you don't go through some gory detail, you buy the one off the, and you drive on the street. Sometimes you drive home and you don't remember driving, right? That AI works like that most of the time. AI needs to know both ethics, a certain level of ethics, but it also needs to know when it has to switch into the slow thinking mode, which is when you use calculators, when you use advanced math, when do you do calculus, when do you do even more complex logic? It has to be able to make that cut, but it has to know that when it's doing science or doing a problem, which is really important, it's got to put more computational resources into that and do the job right.
I'm going to move on. Are you ready now?
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we stop. I don't know whether there's any closing remarks or we're just done. Okay, I have to give closing remarks, so we're just done. I wanted to thank you all really well. It was a really fun panel, great keynotes in both sessions, and thank you all very, very much.